And we're back. Part 2. Here we go.
I wasn't. The whole industry doesn't really require anything. It's mostly just California or union, and I wasn't union.
Okay. And so Rust wasn't like, the guy obviously has to have a cert to be a cop.
Yeah, no,
and
totally.
Every year I got to take, driving courses and shooting courses.
This would have been a good approach to keep her off guard. Is if I was interviewing her, I would make it look like I'm going after the other people and she's a victim. So you're telling me that nobody gave you training? No. Did you ask for training and they refused, or it just never came up? Oh, it never came up. See, I got her to admit that she didn't ask, but it made it look like I'm going after them and they're the bad guy. So she can get a lot of information if she plays, I'm after the other people, I'm not after you, but help me get them. And then you'll get her talking and giving you shit that she doesn't know she's giving you that points to her incompetence.
And everything like that.
Yeah, no, totally. Russ didn't really ask me anything about that. They kind of just conferred it all through Seth.
Notice how she says Russ didn't ask me, and the investigator lets that go. Who the fuck is Russ? Russ is the name of a movie. How the fuck is Russ telling her anything? Who told you? Who are we talking about? When you say Russ, what do you mean? Rick, why do you want to beat her up? That's how you get information. That's how you make it clear for a jury if this ends up in trial. That's how you make sure that people can't weasel out later. Her attorney there hasn't said one word. I can ask anything any way I want, and this girl is too damn worried about sharing her Hooters experience and dyeing her hair.
Okay. So I heard that you were hired to do a couple jobs on this set.
Yes.
Can you talk about or tell me about both of them?
Okay, so originally when I got on the set, I have always done armor kind of really separate from props. I'm always with props, but we do it ourselves, me and my dad and props.
Do you see how unclear the statement is? And the investigator should be clearing this up. Well, I've always done and with props and it's always don't try to weasel out of that shit. I need freaking direct answers to direct questions and explain it to where I can understand it. I want you to explain what a prop person does, and then I want you to explain what an armor was. I want to know the difference of the duties of these two. I don't want to hear this mushy mouth, well, they're kind of, and, I kind of do, and, it's all interrelated, and no, I don't want to hear that shit. What is the responsibility of prop people, and what is the responsibility of armor? Get people locked down.
Props doesn't really interfere. This is the only job that I've taken where I was heavily incorporated into props, and it's because originally they had hired me for armor and key prop assistant. And that's not just prop assistant, that's the key prop assistant. So that means more responsibility. That means I'm Sarah's second.
Okay.
In a lot of cases. So if there's an issue with props, you would go to Sarah, and then if there's an issue where Sarah can't, isn't there, then it goes to me, and then we have our assistant, Nicole. So
Sarah, the prop lady, has an assistant, which is her, and then she has an assistant. And again, we have this no delegation of authority and responsibility. You need to know what your job is. You can only have what you call a span of control when you're a supervisor. You only have so much span of control. I can't control people in 4 different areas doing 4 different jobs at the same time. So my span of control is either where I'm at, who my supervisor, who I'm hiring. I hire people that I trust that can do this, that are going to get back to me, that are going to come to me. So as you get more responsibilities, you have to have more accountability because you can't be everywhere. She's just mentally, I still don't know the difference between a prop and a freaking armor. And I still don't know, she had an assistant on this job. Remember earlier? On the other job, she didn't have an assistant. She was the only armor with 20 guns. On this job, she has an assistant. I think her name's Sarah. Why do you have an assistant on this job and you didn't have one on that job? What's the difference? Why? I need to know that so I can understand. If I can't understand, I can't articulate it in my report. I can't get on the stand in front of a jury and say why I base my opinion. I can't base my opinion on, well, kind of, and maybe, and sometimes, and on this one, and maybe, and I can't base a freaking factual or reasonable opinion on that. But this idiot can, because she's probably never been to court.
I had my job is the armor, and originally I thought that I was mostly going to be doing my armor job and kind of left alone to do that. But after the first week,
Who knows what her armor job is? Anybody? Of course you don't, because it hasn't been asked and it hasn't been answered.
I got talked to by some people in production, and they were told that I wasn't really pulling my weight in props.
Okay, let me stop you right there. You got talked to by people in production. Who is people? I need a name of the people in production that talked to you, that told you, I want to do a follow-up with these people. Why did they think she wasn't doing her job? They've got vital information that will help me. No question. I don't know. Just people. Who is production to you? Are they your boss? Why are they telling you this? How do they know what your job is? What is their job? If they're doing their job, why are they watching you? Are they in your chain of command? I don't know any of this. Because you got a shit investigator not asking any damn questions.
So basically I was told that I needed to shift my focus less on armor and more on props.
Who did they expect to take on the armorer role if it wasn't your?
I don't know. They told me, they said, yeah, we hear that you're taking your armor job very seriously, but we need you to support props right now because props is also struggling. And I was like, okay, I'll try my best to do that.
I'll try my best. See, look, I can look at her and know that she's lazy. She doesn't have any self-starter, self-initiative. She's going to do the bare minimum at any job she has. She doesn't have pride. She doesn't have a go-getter attitude. She doesn't want to excel. She didn't take any training on her own to get these jobs. She didn't try to better herself and learn things. She just waited for Daddy to get her a job. And when he got her a job, she did the least she had to do. And not only did the last thing they got pissed at her, they got pissed at her on this job. These are all clues that she's playing the poor victim when in fact, she's freaking lazy and doesn't do her damn job.
And they said, normally before that I would kind of just hang out in the prop truck and work on the guns and just...
Wait a minute. You would hang out in a prop truck and work on the guns? You just told me you didn't work on the guns because you didn't understand them. Which one is it? See, that she's being allowed to throw out all these confusion things and she's not being challenged at all.
Kind of being there doing my own stuff if there weren't any.
Meaning I'm sitting in the truck doing my own shit. Meaning I'm not doing any damn thing. Working on the guns. How long you gotta work on a gun? I mean, what? How do you sit in the truck and work on a gun all day? The gun works, it doesn't work. You clean it, it takes a cleaning and you're done. How many guns are on the set? How many guns are you working on? How many guns? You had 20 guns on the other one and you were by yourself. How many guns on this one? So far, we've only heard about 2 rifles and 3 or 4 pistols. So if there's only 5 guns on this one, how much time do you need? And you have an assistant. What is the difference between you and your assistant? What is your duties and what is your assistant duties? And she'd probably say, well, my assistant just pretty much does what I need her to do. So what do you do when your assistant does what you need her to do? I mean, this is the most freaking joke interview.
Any guns on set. But after that, they had told me, no, we want you on set. We want you as a present on set for props.
Okay.
Meaning she was just hanging out in a truck getting paid, and people were like, that's bullshit. If you're just going to sit in a truck and do nothing, get your ass in here. We got things you can do. And she didn't like it, so now she's playing a victim.
Yeah, so was split up quite a bit.
Can you give me some examples of what you would do, when you were assisting props?
Okay, yeah. So normally, I kind of
Normally, kinda. All these vague words that absolutely say nothing. Filler words, I call them.
For the saloon scene, I would just kind of be standing there, watching over the guns and everything, checking them for the...
Wait a minute. We're talking about props. Now you're watching over the guns. You're the armorer. Why wouldn't watching the guns be part of armor duties? Why is that part? Does anybody know the answer to that? No. Why?
The actors, as I brought them into the actors, That's just my job as the armor. With the saloon and everything, I'm pouring drinks for props. I'm running outside and rolling cigarettes. I'm like doing...
Running outside doing cigarettes? What?
For props. I'm running outside and rolling cigarettes. I'm...
Running outside and rolling cigarettes? What the hell does that mean?
Like doing several different things.
Like doing several different things. She said 2 things. I poured drinks and I ran for cigarettes. And I had to watch over the guns. 2 things. And lots of things. Lots, many. I was so busy. I mean, I work with people like this. They're always busy and they don't do a damn thing. But they always, I'm so busy, I'm so confused, I don't have time, I'll get back with you. Excuses, excuses, excuses.
I'm grabbing several different props and setting props up constantly. And so, yeah, when some scenes aren't exactly super prop heavy and sometimes they're just kind of gun heavy. And so in that case, I can like focus more on the guns. But sometimes I was split between running the guns and also dealing with the props. But Nicole, the assistant...
See, the problem is props usually don't kill people. Guns kill people. But, Rick, she doesn't need any formal training. I mean, her dad got her the job. What do you want?
Tried to help alleviate that a little bit, but not every, she was pretty green, so had to step in a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Mostly I thought that I was there doing props at the beginning just to help find everything because we got hired on a week before. Normally you hire the prop master a month in advance.
So now they're talking prop master. Are you saying you're the prop master? Because you said you work for production and production needs you to help out. Are you saying you're the prop master now? What is the prop master's duties? Who hires the prop master? Who does the prop master report to? I don't know any of this. This fucking interview's just fucking, it's like, let's just come in here and tell fucking stories and we'll say thanks for coming in.
Sarah got brought on a week before I got brought on a little after her. And so we were just kind of running around that first week trying to find props. And then I thought after that, after she got the assistant, I'd be able to focus more on the guns. But then production talked to me and said that I needed to focus.
So are you telling me that you did not focus, because that's what she kind of just said, but I want her to say it. Are you telling me that you focus more on props than on the guns? And what she just said, she'd answer, yes. What is your time spent between props and guns if you got 100%? 70% on props and 30 on guns? Give me a percentage. She would probably say, maybe 60-40 or something. I would lock her down. You got to get information. You have to make these people tell you and look for the answers that help you. You can't let them give you the answers that are vague that helps them. That's not a good interview.
It's more on props, so.
Okay. And who from production?
Gabrielle Pickle, and also the head of the art department, Brian. Mostly, Sarah just said that I couldn't really support props in the way needed, so they were talking about possibly I was talking to them, and I was like, well, do you not want me to do props at all in this case and just focus on the guns? And they were like, no, we don't want Nicole stepping up and taking your position. We want you to step into this position, and we think it's a great opportunity.
So I think Nicole might be her assistant, and they don't want her stepping up to be head armor, or they didn't want Nicole stepping up to be head prop. I don't know, because nobody's asking.
Opportunity for you, but really I just got to do 2 jobs for less pay.
Yeah. How did you feel about that added responsibility?
It was a lot, but
2 jobs for less pay. I would focus on this a little bit. So do you think that you were doing these 2 jobs and you weren't fairly compensated? Did that make you upset? Are you angry about that? She would probably try to lie and say, no, I was okay with it. That's not true. So basically she just gave herself a motive to sabotage the set because she can say, you guys had me doing prop and now somebody got shot or a live round got in there. I don't necessarily think, some people are saying they wanted this girl dead because she was fighting for the union. And Alex knew and other people knew and it was all, I don't believe that. I think somebody wanted a live round on the set to either be found or to be fired and scare the shit out of people so they could say, see, We told you this set is unsafe. The film crew walked off the night before because they said it was unsafe. She gave a gun to an 11-year-old without clearing it. She fired a gun in Nicolas Cage's ear. The guy wanted her fired. They didn't think she was doing her job here. There's all these indicators that point to her incompetence, and nobody's focusing on it and making her justify why they're wrong.
I'm super eager, and when someone kind of says,
If you're super eager, you don't know the definition of eager. Eager is not the word I describe you, okay? Lazy, non-caring, apathetic, not giving a shit, distracted. Those are all words I describe her. Eager is not the word that comes to mind when I see this girl and watch her interviews.
like, you know, you can do this. Like, then I'm just like, okay, now I have to show them, like, I can do this, you know?
Okay, I have to show them. Man, I'd be all over that. So you took the job to basically prove them that you could do it, but you weren't really felt you were ready for the job. You didn't think you had the qualifications for the job. You didn't think that you should be doing this job, and you only took it because they want... I mean, you could be all over her, and her attorney ain't said a damn word, and he wouldn't. And what are they doing? They're letting her walk this freaking interview around like she's a freaking conductor at a freaking orchestra.
So ultimately, it was frustrating, but at the same time, I was like, all right, got to go and kick ass and props now, I guess, too.
It was frustrating. Let me concentrate on that. When you say frustrating, do you mean because of the money? Because it was too much? Because you didn't have the training? Because you had too many bosses? Describe to me what you mean when you were frustrated. Come on, people! Ask this girl some freaking questions!
Yeah. Did you ever have, like, any time that specifically pointed out to you where you felt overwhelmed by doing the job?
Well, you know, props, we were told a lot, you know, that we were kind of lagging, and, like, the wranglers would kind of shit on us for not propping up horses soon enough, or, like, not getting actors propped up soon enough. So props was definitely...
More complaints from people saying they weren't doing their job. The checklist, if I was doing, I don't want to spend that much time on it, but the checklist that I would have about the indicators of her lazy and incompetence, and the amount of people, not just one, not just two, it seems like everybody thought she was lazy and wasn't doing her job. And she's turning this interview into, I'm the victim. I wasn't ready. It wasn't my fault. I had all this, and I wanted to sit in a truck and just work with guns, but I didn't work with guns, and I had to give it to another guy because I couldn't figure it out. But I was so busy, and I don't know how the live round got there, and I'm not sure what. And it's not my fault, but I'm taking the money. Wow.
Struggling. And then after that talk I had with Brian, I went to Sarah, and I was like, I'm not, like, pulling my weight, you know? And I tried to talk to her about it, and she was like, yeah, I didn't mean to, like, be a jerk about it. I just wanted to let them know that I needed more help in the department. And so we talked about it, and I was like, well, that's cool. Just maybe next time go ahead and talk to me first before going to Brian and Gabrielle.
Do you know why they didn't utilize Nicole more?
We definitely did utilize Nicole, but ultimately I have a very strong personality.
Really? Really?
And also, a lot of the times, like, my personality would even be stronger than Sarah's in a lot of respects. And
remember, she described Sarah as what? A very strong personality? Maybe her definitions are different than mine.
a lot of people were already kind of gaining respect for me, like, in terms of, like, you know, the wranglers and everything. And I'm just good at meshing with other departments.
Totally inconsistent. She said the wranglers were pissed at her because she wasn't getting the horses done together. Now she's saying the wranglers were gaining respect for her. Those are two opposite statements. She needs to be called out on that. And if I was there, I'd be like, wait a minute, I'm confused. A few minutes ago, you said the wranglers were mad at you because you weren't doing the job fast enough for them. And now you're telling me they're gaining respect for you. That doesn't make sense. Can you explain that to me? Ask her the freaking questions.
You know, so They wanted me on set more just to kind of, you know, be a presence of props and really, you know, kind of just be a demanding force.
Okay.
Kinda, yeah. Is that a freaking gecko that just showed up there? What the hell is that? Looks like a damn lizard just popped in. Am I losing my mind? Did that shit just pop in? Maybe it didn't. Maybe I just didn't see it. No, it did pop in.
And really, you know,
What the hell is
kind
this?
of just be a demanding force.
Okay.
What the hell? Somebody must have added that shit.
Yeah.
Did you ever express to them at any point if you felt overwhelmed or?
After that, you know, I thought we were doing pretty good of managing both. There were some days, you know, where I would talk to Sarah and I was like she would be like, could you come out here and see what's going on with me? And I was like, no, dude, I need to like focus on guns and I need to pull guns for later on. And she would be like, well, you're the second. I think you should be here with me on set to watch this. And I was like, there's not a lot of props out there. I'm going to be here doing the guns.
Wow. Doesn't seem like she has a problem telling somebody no. So a minute ago, her attitude was, whoa, woe is me. It was really hard and they wanted me. And now she's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm staying. Well, I would want to know, why did you tell her that? Is she your boss or she isn't your boss? Why didn't you tell her that when you wanted to focus on the guns? Because earlier you said you couldn't focus on the guns. They wanted you in props and you went to props. Now you're telling me that when they wanted you to go somewhere, you said, no, you're staying with the guns. If you have the ability to say no and stay with the guns, why didn't you do that? What changed? Why aren't we getting any type of interrogation of this person?
Okay.
So there was a couple of times, but I also kind of really held my ground on not, you know, spreading myself too incredibly thin.
My guess is when she holds her ground, it's to get out of work. I don't know her. I ain't never worked with her. But I'm telling you my opinion, the only time she holds her ground is when somebody wants her to do something and she wants to get out of work. She holds her ground.
Or getting overran by
Yeah.
others.
Yeah, exactly. Because you kind of just have to, you know, but ultimately with higher positions, sometimes you get ran over.
Oh, well, wait a minute. I'm confused. If you told this person no, who would run over you? When you say you get run over, who would run over you? I want a name. And why do they have the authority to run over you and this person you told no doesn't? What's the difference? What changed? Why? Because she's stating the narrative that makes her look, I'm confused. And she's not confused. She knows exactly who she can say no to and who she can't. She knows what her job is, and she knows what she's supposed to be doing. And they know she's lady. The Wranglers were pissed off. The other crew that she worked on the other film were pissed off. They wanted her fired. And now this crew, everybody wants her fired and don't like her. But she's really good about getting along with people and making a mess and to show a force when she's there, her presence. This woman's been living in la freaking liberal idiotville since she dyed her hair, and she doesn't have a clue of what reality is. She has her own reality, and no one else sees it but her. And the freaking quote-a-hire interviewer.
Okay. Who hired you for Rust?
I believe, I'm not really sure.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? You don't know who hired you? You don't know who you report to? You don't know who you get direction from? Who can tell you yes, no? Who do you go with questions about what you should be doing? You don't even know?
That's just texted me and he's like, you got the job, prop assistant, so-and-so. I sent him my resume and Sarah sent it in and I think Roe approved it. And yeah, so Sarah hired me, Roe approved it.
Okay. So it's not like a typical hiring process for a job where you have to go in and...
Yeah, no, there's no real interviews like any time in film. Film's a very weird industry.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth by all means. I think it's...
This is probably the most credibility she has. I believe what she's saying here because everything that I've been hearing, what she's saying here makes sense to me. It's a freaking haphazard. Nobody gives a shit. We got fucking money. We're Hollywood. No one cares. The rules don't apply for us, and we can do what the fuck we want. We'll hire a bunch of incompetent people. Who cares?
It's so weird how, like, secretive it is almost, you know, like it's really hard to get on anything unless you know somebody. And if you stop working for a while, it's like almost hard to jump back in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really weird. You can't just like look up like film jobs in your area and then go and apply. That's not a thing. Yeah. I really wish it was kind of like that. That would probably, that'd be a lot better. But
it wouldn't be a lot better for you because your interview skills suck. You look lazy. You have shit experience for what you've done in your whole 24 years of experience in the film industry, whatever. You're 24 years old. I don't know how long you've been working with daddies, you know, pulling strings for you. But if you had to go through an interview, any idiot that hired you would be a bigger idiot than you.
But right now there's just such a media surge, especially that, you know, they're just kind of getting on anyone that they can bring, really, because the media surge with all of these different, like the networks and everything coming out with their own little internet things, it's making everything like boom right now like crazy.
Yeah. I know you had talked about how you were in the process of becoming a union member.
Yeah.
With which union?
I was working on becoming a union member with the Local 44.
Okay.
That's the oldest and longest established union, and it's also the one that my dad's a part of, so.
Is that like international or?
I'm not really entirely sure. I know it's mostly California. You know, each union is kind of specific to the area.
She's not really sure about a whole bunch. Anybody else got that common theme? This girl isn't real sure about a lot of things.
Yeah, I think.
Including whether or not a gun's loaded or not, because somebody's dead. But she's not really sure.
That one is the most put together one, and it's definitely the most active one, which is why I was trying to be a part of it. And I had already actually started the, like, kind of OSHA safety one a little bit after this, actually. So I had already been starting that because I just got in, like, a little bit before that into the program.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What program? What program? You just got into a program. Why did you pick this? Because your dad was in it? Does he know people? What steps have you done to enter? You said you were going to it. What steps? She's like, well, I just kind of got started and I was... That means she didn't do shit. That means she was thinking about it. Okay, you said you were taking steps. What steps did you take? Did you apply? Did you pay a fee? How do you get in? What's the process? You said you started the process. I'd like to know the process. What's the process to get in a union? We don't know. We'll never know.
So as far as your employment on Rust, were you hired on a contract, or how?
I was
determined?
I was hired on a contract. Yeah, you know, the contract wasn't really specific to the job.
What the fuck? We got a contract. We're not specific. It wasn't really specific. Nothing's really specific. That's why somebody's dead.
Per se, the contract was just like regular employee contract. Jason has a copy of it.
Okay.
Didn't go into. What do you mean a contract? Did they send it to you? Did you negotiate it? Did you review it and have to sign it and send it back? Did someone else review it and tell you to change? Was there any negotiation? Who sent you the contract? Did you sign the contract? Who has the contract? He's got a copy of it. Who sent it to you? Who did you send it back to? We don't know.
Is there any way I can get a copy?
Sure, yeah, I'll send that.
Yeah.
Besides you and Sarah and Nicole, were there any other armorers or prop masters or anybody brought onto the set at any time?
I don't believe so. Not anyone brought on the set. I don't really know if Seth ever came to set, but he was the mentor on the paperwork and everything, and he was like where we got most of our stuff from.
Okay, so Seth, I think, worked on The Walking Dead for 10 years. But she's brought him up a lot to kind of transfer some of the liability to him because he had more experience. So she's really good about throwing Seth down. I'd be like, what was Seth's responsibility? You said, was he getting paid? Did he have a contract? Who hired him? How often did you communicate with him? Did y'all text? How many times did you communicate with him on this? How many questions did you ask him? What did you ask him? What did he answer? Did he ever come on set? When you sent a gun to him, how did you send it to him? In the mail? Did you hand it to him? Did you have your assistant give it to him? This Seth guy keeps coming up, and I don't know shit about him. Why? We'll never know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no one else ever worked with you guys? They didn't do like a late hire?
Oh, so they did bring in one girl for swing shift, but I don't even know if she ever made it to set or if she just met up with Sarah outside of set.
Okay.
But yeah, we had finally, week 2 is coming around, and we told them, like, it's getting crazy busy. We can't have Sarah leaving set to go find these things, so they brought in a day player that could run around.
So you said they brought somebody in on a swing shift. How many shifts are there? Do they have a day, swing, and midnight shift? How long are these shifts? How do you know they brought her in for a swing shift? Did somebody tell you? Did you talk to her? What was her responsibility when they brought her on? If they brought her on to help with props, did that relieve you of any duty? Was she working for, who was she reporting to? We'll never know.
And go find things for us.
Okay.
Because before that, Sarah had to leave set a lot of the time. Oh, that all.
Oh, shit. All right, I'm at 30 minutes. We'll have to do a part 3. Shit.